Okay, good morning everybody. I hope you've all managed to tune in okay, and welcome to the second Wimbledon School of English webinar for our ETOs, our agents. It's really cold today in London, that's why I'm wearing a jacket. First time I've worn a jacket for weeks. It was 4 degrees this morning, which was quite a shock when we had 25 degrees a couple of days ago. So I hope it's lovely and sunny where you are. So today's webinar is to tell you all about our exciting programs we're running for juniors this summer. I won't say very much. The two people giving you all the information are Fiona, our principal, who I think many of you know already, and Adam, our junior operations manager, who many of you met in our seminar last week or the week before. So I just want to remind you all of why Wimbledon School of English. I know there's a lot of competition out there, so we want to remind you why we are one of the best schools in the UK. So first of all, we are still #1 according to our British Council inspection results. That hasn't gone away. So as I've said before, it's the same staff, the same team, the same highly professional teachers, all there dedicated to looking after you and looking after your students. One of the really strong aspects of what we do is our customer care. Every member of staff is dedicated to looking after your students and you, of course, as well. Everybody is our customer. So as you know, we try and respond really quickly to everything. Any problem we try and solve as soon as possible. We are always there for you. The quality, I think most of you know about the quality, but we have some of the most highly experienced and highly qualified teachers in the UK. And also our teachers are experienced at delivering online. We have been delivering live group online classes for several years now, so this is not new for us. And our teachers have all also received dedicated training in teaching online. And actually another program we're running later this summer, more info next week, is online teacher training. So we can train your teachers or teachers you know to teach better online classes. Another aspect of the quality is that we are always thinking about the customer and their welfare and their well-being. So as part of our 21st century skills, mindfulness and well-being activities are built into classes and everything else we do. But also, we know you don't want your teenagers to be glued to a screen all day. We know that most children throughout the world have been learning at home online with their schoolwork, and they need a break from that. So Adam will tell you a bit more about how we're going to make sure they're not staring at a computer, both for the whole lesson and for the activities. They'll be moving around, they'll be doing other things. They're not just going to be getting square eyes from staring at the computer. We also offer a good choice, we think. So we are running a general English program. We are also running a young leaders program. Fiona will tell you more about that. And our very popular specialist skills workshops, which most of you already know, because we've been offering these since we started our junior summer camps. And we know that students love these. It's a chance to practice their English while learning about something else. And then finally, more than study, we are offering a full activities program, which includes physical fitness activities, craft activities, arts. Adam will tell you about those. Also bringing in British culture. Your children, students, they can't come to the UK, but we can make them feel as if they're in the UK. So we're also offering visits, guided tours, and bringing British culture into everything we do. So I think that's enough from me for now. And I will hand over now to Adam, who has the program details for you. See you later.
Thank you very much, Jane. Yes, I do. So what we are offering is a timetable for the start looks something like this. So we have 10 lessons in total every week of either general English or young leaders. They will be placed, especially the young leaders, will be placed into language abilities. So we will give everybody a placement test before they arrive. That is already online. That's already working for our main school. And so they have 2 sessions with a short break in between. As Jane has said, we are trying to integrate off-screen and on-screen activities in everything that we do. So there will be regular brain breaks, even when we're not actually having a break scheduled. Mindfulness is part of everything that we do at Wimbledon School of English anyway. So our teachers are already experienced in that, and they bring that into these lessons too. So we have a lesson, short break, a lesson, short break, and then after that we have our specialist skills workshops, which Fiona and I are going to go into in a little bit more detail shortly. We will be offering junior journalist, filmmaking and social media, presentations, debating and public speaking, language of sport, and youth culture. So they are the options that we will have. As I say, we will talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment. And then, so this is how our classes break down for the first 3 lessons. Then we have a slightly longer break, what we call lunch. And in the after lunch, we will have 4 afternoons or 4 days, 4 sessions of fitness and cultural clubs, which again, I will come on to in a moment. One of those times will be a guided tour, which is slightly longer. And again, I'm going to go into what these tours involve, because they're not just going to places or museums. And then on Friday, the last thing that we do is have some Friday fun. Again, I will be speaking to you about that shortly. So Fiona, would you like to tell us something about the Young Leaders Programme?
Yes, certainly. Hi everyone, lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. Young Leaders, for me, is one of the most exciting courses that we run at Wimbledon School of English, and it's been so successful. When we ran it last summer for the 14 to 17-year-olds in our junior centre, it was very, very popular and very well received. As Adam said, it's 10 lessons running alongside the general English courses, 10 lessons per week for students 14 to 17 years old and B2 and above. And this very much is, it's not focusing on the language. The language is subtly integrated. It's more about training our young people to be the future leaders in our countries, equipping them with all the skills that they need for 21st century living and working, and getting them ready for the workplace. So it includes such skills as time management, problem solving, effective communication, confidence building, so important, resilience, creativity, team building. The list is so long: project management, negotiations, organisation, initiative, critical thinking. They're getting all of these skills in a very dynamic and active way within their classes. Again, as Adam and Jane said, a lot of the class time is off screen, so students learning through doing. They'll be doing practical activities such as case studies, putting together presentations, working in teams to solve problems and present them back, doing activities like The Apprentice, if you're familiar with the television programme, Dragon's Den, etc., looking at CV writing, their body language and interviews, recruitment. There are so many different things going on in the Young Leaders course. It's very rewarding for them. And really, I think the feedback is always that the classes are so dynamic and so relevant and current to young people's lives nowadays. So as I say, it's one of my favourite courses, very practical, very engaging for the students. Again, as Adam said, there are brain breaks throughout all of the courses, and just getting them away, getting them to stretch, to wake their brain up rather than being stuck in front of a screen for hours on end. So very, very stimulating for the students. I think that your students will certainly benefit from doing a Young Leaders course. That's me for Young Leaders, really. I mean, I will be open to any questions afterwards. The programme is very exciting for them.
Excellent.
I think.
Thank you very much, Fiona.
Again, Adam.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our specialist skills workshops, and Jane and Fiona are also going to tell you little bits as well. So obviously we've adapted our specialist skills workshops from what was the physical centre to an online course, and actually we're quite excited about all the opportunities that this gives our students. So, for example, in our junior journalist, we will still be looking at language of journalism, looking at different formats of things, but we will be getting students much more to do more recording, more editing of the kind of things that they say, and actually getting students to collaborate virtually online, but in order to build a short news broadcast. Filmmaking and social media also involves groups working together to create some kind of product at the end of it, but that's looking a lot more at storyboarding and film shots and thinking about how lighting and sound and these things work, and then it will be putting together all the little clips into something on iMovie or whatever the students have available to them. There are all sorts of video editing software out there these days, so everybody has access to video editing software. Again, as I say, it will be collaborative with small groups of students for filmmaking. And the language of sport similarly will involve part of it, part of the specialist skills workshop course will involve people working together to come up with a product. That could be commentating on a football match. That could be talking about some of the great players that they have been or the great matches that they have been in the past. We will also be teaching little bits about tactics, some of the language that's used in sport as well. So to tell us something about the youth culture, Jane, are you going to do that one?
Yeah, that's me, the youth culture. So our students at the Summer Centre are youths. They're normally teenagers or slightly younger than teenagers, and as such, I believe that they're really interested in current youth culture and historic youth culture. So with this, we look at a lot of British youth culture, such as current movements, such as future foodies, environmental, eco-warriors, etc. Previous youth cultures, such as punks, goths, hippies, hipsters, all these other things, and compare with youth cultures in their countries. And as a part of that, we bring in art, fashion, design, and music. So it really does appeal to many of today's teenagers and kids. And then again, they can work collaboratively on this. They can choose a particular person, what we call an icon, from a cultural period or a particular group, and do some research, do a project into that, and then present it to their friends. So it's fun and exciting, and it crosses all sorts of artistic disciplines. So it's one that I personally really enjoy, and I wish I could teach it. So that's that from me.
So I'll move on and describe the debating, presentations and public speaking specialist skills workshop, because this is one of my favourites again. And in previous years, we've been running this course at our junior centre now ever since we started, and it's always a very popular course. Very meaty, I think. Students get a lot out of it. And again, it very much complements this idea of bringing in 21st century skills. So the idea of debating lends itself very much to online study. Students can go into breakout rooms, they prepare, they do their research away from the screens, and we provide them with the language, the sound bites, the use of their voice to put across an argument very clearly, to prepare them possibly to be the future politicians of tomorrow that we're needing. Then we move on to presentation skills as well. Again, very, very current nowadays to be looking at how we do presentations online as well as offline. Any of you have actually done a webinar, you'll know that it's a very different type of presentation skill. So we look at online presentations as well as actually face-to-face. And we concentrate on things like confidence building, speaking for longer than a few seconds, which sounds very straightforward, but in a different language, it can be quite daunting. Using your voice, looking at your intonation, keeping the audience interested, etc., etc. And then also move on to public speaking, that longer part of speech as well, which again is very relevant. I think this course really complements our young leaders as well. They do go hand in hand, but for general English students as well, for all ages, from 8 to 17, this is also a very useful course for them. And they can change every week. So if they want to do 1 week of debating and presentation skills, 1 week of filmmaking, 1 week of junior journalist, that's up to them as well. They can change on the week for the following week. So I think that's it from me for debating, presentations and public speaking.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fiona. Can you tell us a little bit about exams?
Oh yes, so exams. Now, we've got such a wealth of experience, those of you who know the school well. We have so many experienced qualified teachers. We're a big examination centre. And so we want to tap into that wealth of knowledge and offer that to the students as well. There's nothing actually published for examinations, because what we are suggesting is if your students would like to do a 2-to-1 course or 1-to-1 course, in addition to the 15 lessons of tuition that they have, then we can prepare them for all exams from first certificate, CAE, IELTS preparation. We have all of this experience within our staff, as you well know. We can also prepare them for language cert, which is becoming more and more popular. It's been around for a long time. It's internationally recognised. It's a very robust exam, running at all levels. And we can run language cert with very, very short notice online for our students throughout the summer and year round as well. So those are the 4 exams that we can cover. 2-to-1s, 1-to-1s, small groups. If you've got students who just want to come as a group of 4 and do a couple of extra lessons to complement their course, we would put together a bespoke examination preparation course for them. With that in mind, and something that we don't mention here, is we can also provide an offline study program for them, kind of blended element to the course if they're interested. That would go alongside any 1-2-to-1 small group course that we can put together for them, for examinations or for other skills if they've got other interests as well. Is that okay for you, Adam?
That's perfect. Thank you very much indeed, Fiona. So I'm going to then talk to you a little bit about the stuff that's on the lower part of this picture, the fitness and cultural clubs, the guided tours and the Fun Day Fun, because as we have, as both Fiona and Jane have talked about, we want to get students moving as much as we possibly can. So our fitness and cultural clubs are designed in that way. Now, we're not going to offer every single one of these, and we will offer other things that are not on this list, but this is an example of the kinds of things that we will be offering. TikTok challenges, for example, are a very exciting thing. I don't know if anybody's seen them. It's this new app where people do short 10, 15-second challenge to replicate something that they've seen online, and it's really popular. When Jane and Fiona talked about our experience just now, so we have years and years and years of experience both teaching online and obviously in our main school. However, one of the important experiences that we've had recently is that we never stopped giving classes. When lockdown happened, the next day we were online, which means that we've already been delivering, we are currently delivering online English language programs, including activities programs, which is something that I'm organising, and it means that I get the chance to trial things before we actually bring them to the summer, and I think that this is one of the big advantages that we have. So looking at the kind of things we might do on a Friday afternoon, that will be a lot more sort of social, a lot more fun. We can have parties, some kind of murder mysteries with groups of students would also work perfectly well, talent shows, karaoke. But actually the thing that I'm most excited about are the tours, the guided excursions, because being online opens us up from simply doing physical tours. So we can do tours of concepts and history as well as simply going to a museum. In fact, this is one of the areas in which our experience is helping us, because tours of museums are not incredibly interesting. Tours of places are okay, but we can use museums in different ways. So for example, we would give a guided excursion around Shakespeare's England, or talk about Wimbledon tennis. And as well as just doing a tour, we will be able to combine that with videos and other things to give a much more full picture in our guided excursions. From next week, we will also be offering free activities taster sessions every week. So this will be for your students. So any potential students can sign up. You will all have emails from our marketing department. Get in touch with our marketing department if you are interested in coming, and they will send you the information that your students need in order to try out our activities programs. We will be giving away one free session a week until we start, which will be the middle of June, our online summer course. That is most of the things from me about activities. Obviously, if you have questions, you're free to ask questions in the quick Q&A. You can send us emails. Please ask as many questions as you like. But now Fiona's going to tell us a little bit about safeguarding.
Yes, safeguarding and welfare. Again, those of you who know Wimbledon School of English well, you'll know that this is really at the heart of everything that we do, the welfare and the safeguarding of all of our students, young and the mature students as well. And online is no different. We still have the same robust systems in place to make sure that all of our students are feeling safe and comfortable in the environment that they're studying with us on. And so with that in mind, we've many policies and a lot of training already for our staff on online safety using the Zoom platform. And we have certain measures in place so that students are never alone with an adult, so that people cannot be Zoom bombed, which is stopping strangers coming into Zoom. And we make sure that all of this is very well monitored and very tight. We also have the same safeguarding and welfare measures that we would have in the main school. We have a full safeguarding team, including myself, Jane and Adam. We're all highly trained in safeguarding of young people and vulnerable adults. And we take all of that into account. We meet every single week to talk about any students that are maybe on our radar. We've all been trained, all of the teachers, all of the staff have been trained in recognising the signs of students that are possibly, now they won't be feeling homesick, but they might be feeling with the, at the moment and going into the summer, with the idea of extended lockdown and coming out of lockdown, they might be feeling a bit stressed. This is their release. We're trained to recognise any changes in their behaviour, etc., and how to act accordingly. The Director of Studies is available every day for students to make sure that they're feeling challenged, they're getting what they want from the course, they're feeling engaged, the courses are enjoyable for them, and also again to talk about any welfare issues that they might have. I think one of the big things for me with well-being and welfare of all of our students is the social programme, because what we want, again, if they're working in front of a screen, the idea is to really take that away and make it as engaging and active, the whole programme, for the students as possible. And that will only help their well-being and welfare. And with that in mind, the social programme is key, and we listen to student feedback and act accordingly on that to make sure there are very engaging activities going on, to encourage students to have that international experience, to be making friends online in a safe space all across the world. So again, social programme really plays into welfare and well-being. And I think finally, just to sum up, it's all about communication. We have a lot of staff in school, and as I said before, we're all trained on safeguarding and welfare, including any online areas that are important nowadays. We create a safe and open environment to provide a positive, memorable experience for the students, and are always here to listen to them. So hopefully you have a feeling that this to us is key. There's nothing more important than the students feeling safe, happy, and enjoying their time with us. So that this is predominant in everything that we do, is their welfare.
Great, thank you very much, Fiona. Now, as Fiona talked about a little bit, there's been a lot in the press about security issues around Zoom. So I just want to tell you a couple of the things that we do to try and protect ourselves from Zoom bombing. One way is that all of our classes have unique meeting IDs. That means that it's much more difficult for somebody simply to guess an ID, okay? So that makes it more difficult for them to get in there in the first place. We also have waiting rooms. So when somebody logs into Zoom, they won't immediately enter the room, but the teacher will have to let them in. This is why we actually ask all of our students to put their real name when they log in, so that we can see if there's somebody there that shouldn't be on our register. The teacher can either say that they won't go in the class in the first place, or let them in for a short while and kick them out again. The teachers have all the control of the classes. So the teachers control all the screens that people watch. They have controls of who goes into breakout rooms, and they monitor these breakout rooms. Now, for those of you that haven't used Zoom, breakout rooms are the way that Zoom has of making effectively group or pair work possible. If any of you are interested in seeing how we do it, we are actually offering free sample classes to our ETOs like you every Friday lunchtime, UK time. So if you are interested in seeing some of the ways that we can use the technology and some of the things that we do in our classes, you are also welcome to attend that. You can, I know some of you have already been there. If you are interested, you can email a member of our marketing department, June or Greg or Shores, and they will get back to you. But actually what I really wanted to stress with this, with the technical side of these lessons is actually, rather than thinking about these lessons online as being something that constrains teaching and learning, it actually can widen everything up completely. It makes students a lot more responsible for their own learning. And we're actually really quite excited about the possibilities that there are for online teaching. Jane, I believe you're going to tell us a little bit about pricing. You are muted still, Jane.
Okay. Very rare occasion for me to be muted. So you should have all received the key facts brochure that we sent out just before this webinar, which has the course prices in it. All I wanted to add was, if you have a group that wants to come, as always, groups are very welcome. Contact us and we will give you a special group price. So you have your package price in the brochure. I'm just checking it now. Oh, I can't see it. Package price doesn't seem to be in the brochure. I just spotted a major mistake. Oh no, here it is, sorry. I can't read my own brochure. It's so new, so hot off the press. So the course fees for all the courses, so it's the same for young leaders and for general English, and this covers everything. So it covers the classes, all the activities, the excursions and the social activities. So the course fees are GBP 190 per week, GBP 190 per week, plus we have for all our online courses a £30 registration fee. So that covers everything, the 190 per week, except for 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 lessons. So any of your students are welcome to take additional classes, so they can study on a 1-to-1 basis or 2-to-1. 2-to-1 is for two students booking together, so two friends or members of the same family, etc. And the prices for those are a little bit different. They're in the brochure that was sent around to you. So for 1-to-1, for example, 5 lessons is 225. For 2-to-1, 5 lessons is 150. All the prices sent to you are our gross prices. So as I said, let us know if you want groups. And actually, while I'm talking about groups, quite a few have asked about class size. Our maximum class size is our normal class size. Adam, is that right? Is it 14?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so maximum class size is 14. Also, a couple of other bits in the brochure that we sent out. The programme starts on the 15th of June, so we can start earlier than our normal physical course because we're not waiting to have a boarding school. So it starts on the 15th of June until the 21st of August. 15th of June to the 21st of August. Students can study for anything from 1 week. The Young Leaders programme has a maximum of 4 weeks, so maximum 4 weeks for the Young Leaders. No maximum for the General English programme. We are sending out another brochure that has a lot more details in it in a couple of days. We just wanted this one to go to you as soon as possible with the basic information. And I think that's it from me on the pricing.
Excellent.
So,
I could come in just to finish things up before we move to question and answers, because we had a question beforehand from Runganan. Thank you very much. The question was, what's the difference between WSE and other English schools in terms of improving the students' language skill? And my goodness, this was an exciting question because I could do a whole webinar on this. That there are so many points, I think, that hold us apart from other schools. We have touched upon them, but just to summarise, I mean, I would say the bank of experienced permanent diploma teachers that we have in this school speaks for itself in terms of the progress that students make. And that's no different online. The feedback that we're getting from our main school online courses for 16 and above is incredible. Our teachers have been trained, as Adam said, from the day after lockdown. We were online. We had a full training programme to make sure that all of our teachers were not inexperienced. They knew exactly what they were doing, and all of our standards and all of our measures carried straight over onto the online courses. We've been doing online for 2 years at least now anyway, so we are au fait with this type of delivery. We've got, for the juniors, we've got a tried and tested programme. We rely very heavily on feedback from students, from yourselves, from ETOs, from parents to act accordingly and to develop our school and our programme. Quality control measures, there are so many in place, including all the different types of feedback. But also in terms of teacher observations, these are going on as we speak. Although teachers are experienced, there's always space to learn. We're ensuring that all of the classes are dynamic and really meeting students' needs and interests. With that in mind, they're well thought out classes. There's no time wasting. There's a lot of away from screen time, brain breaks that we've mentioned. I can then go and say nationality mix. So far online, we have an incredible nationality mix, and you know, that's down to you, that's down to all of our partners all over the world. So students do have that international experience that may not have in some schools that are only relying on possibly large groups at the moment. I also mentioned the welfare and the importance that we give to that, and we take that runs through all of our staff, the welfare of all of our students. And we can all talk about that very, very eloquently as well. Progress testing, we're doing lots of testing for the students. I told you I can go on for a whole webinar on this. Students are tested at entrance, very robust test, including speaking, grammar and writing. They get individual tutorials, they have progress reports. Their progress is monitored consistently by the teacher, and the teacher is developing the course as it goes along, and based on the individual learning of each of the students in the group. They pull upon years of experience, our teachers, to ensure that the individualised teaching is taking place and meeting the students' needs. Students have learning goals that they're working towards. And the course content, from feedback from students, the course content is to a point very bespoke for students, that they do feedback that they can immediately use relevant language, and they do see progress. So I think I just wanted to finish by answering that question, because I think there are so many things that do hold us apart. And just kind of give you an idea of, I think, how successful WSE will be and is online. We are still the #1 school in the UK. And in Easter, we launched, some of you will be familiar with the Young Leaders Easter course that we launched for 14 to 17-year-olds. And we went from, we had 1 student booked on that when we originally put it together, and overnight, from putting it online and advertising it to people, we went to 9 students, which is a very healthy course to be running. And feedback from that was incredible, given that that was our first online young leaders course. And the feedback was, we got comments like lovely breakout rooms, had interesting conversations, met students from all over the world. The teacher is not only interested in the language, but also in us as students and our interests. They were very well prepared to help us with our progress. We had very interesting conversations, and all of the students would recommend the course. So that's feedback from the immediate past in the Easter of this year. That really shows that we can pick things up and run with them, move online very quickly and very effectively. Right, I've exhausted myself. I'm going to stop speaking now.
So just before we go on to the Q&A, and there are quite a few questions in there, don't forget to put your questions in the Q&A section. Adam's going to moderate. I just wanted to remind you of the special offer we have for all of our ETOs. Which applies to the juniors courses as well as the adult courses. So as soon as you book a student onto any of our online courses, then you or a member of your staff can do a week's study with us. Obviously not on the juniors program, but we have a lot of other fun courses out there and useful courses. So not just general English, but we've got exam preparation, IELTS preparation, and a whole lot more coming this summer. So a week's free full-time course online for you or any of your staff as soon as you've made a booking on one of our online programs. That, we think, is the best way for you to be able to tell your clients what it's like to learn online. Okay, so over to Adam for the questions.
Excellent. So we have a question from Carol about whether the young leaders will be repetitive or if a student can choose 2 weeks or more. I think we did already answer that.
Yeah, I answered that one. I answered that one in the chat.
Oh, you did? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
That is 4 weeks, isn't it? So people
Yeah.
can do 4 weeks of young leaders. We have a question from Latin America about time differences. So if there are Latin American or South American students, how would we do it as there's a difference of 5 or 6 hours?
So for the current timetable is not geared towards Latin America, as you will have seen, because we didn't have much interest so far from Latin America in any of our online programs. But with many of our adult courses, we are running a morning option and an afternoon option. So if you're from Latin America and you think there is a demand for this kind of program, we can do exactly the same with this. We can introduce the afternoon option at times suited to our Latin American friends. So we'd love to have Latin American students on these courses. So that is our answer. Just let us know. Speak to June. I've put her email in the chat to everybody. Speak to June, let June know, and we can run Latin American courses.
Excellent. Thank you. We have one from Guzel asking us a question about placement tests or passing any English level test. Guzel, everybody will have placement tests sent out to them. We now do this online, so it's just a web page that they will go and they will answer 60 questions, and from that we will put them into classes. We will also have speaking tests to make sure that people's speaking abilities are okay and that writing levels are okay as well. So we have lots of different ways, a very well established way of organizing our placement tests. Regarding the young learners course, so the general English course, you mentioned you were able to accept from A2 level. Do we offer levels for beginners, lessons for beginners, and how many students would there be in a bigger class? I think that's 2 questions.
I think with beginners, we can certainly, if there's demand for A1, 0 beginners, then of course we can accommodate them. We don't have the same safeguarding issues with beginners as we do in the real life course when we do go on excursions, etc. Again, going back to what Jane said, we haven't had a lot of demand for beginners, and we rarely do, but we're certainly open to taking them. And what I would say is if you do have beginners, then do request, and we can certainly put together a course specially for you at the moment. I would say the class size would be very small, because the number of beginners that we get that are real beginners are very small, I think, throughout the world nowadays.
But I think, just to add in, they wouldn't be able to join the specialist skills workshops. So if we had beginners, it would probably need to be a slightly shorter program for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be quite intense anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Anatoly, hello, sir. You asked about the language of sport. You asked, one of your students would like to be a football commentator. Would the course be good for him? I think so the specialist skills workshops are there to add something to our general English or young leaders courses, but it will be perfect for a football commentator, because that's just the kind of thing that our students will be both studying and producing in the specialist skills workshop. We have another question from Masaya. Would it be possible to take only 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 lessons?
Yes, that's possible at any time, any date. We can do it early in the morning, we can do it in the evening, time suitable for you. Just get in touch, speak to June.
Messiah also asks in the general chat room as well, for the general English course, would it be possible for the applicants to take the assessment before they apply? Most definitely, we always do that. If you feel that they're not up to the level, then just get in touch with any one of us, and we can send out a test and do the speaking test online for you.
Just to explain a little bit generally, I'm sure a lot of you have been to our physical centres as well, either our main school or our junior school. We would generally have people do the placement tests on the first morning and then go into classes that morning as well. One of the advantages of this situation that we're in now is we have the same placement test, but we have automated all of the questions, so students are able to do that at any time, and then they will book in a 5-minute speaking test with one of the members of the academic team.
I've just seen a question from Audrey. Hi, Audrey, about the Cambridge exams. We were going to offer Cambridge exams, but we have offered Cambridge exams every year in our summer programmes, and we've had really, really poor response. So only 2 or 3 students wanting it. So we thought there wasn't a demand for Cambridge exams. But if there is a demand, we can have that as a language skills workshop. So we are doing 2 intensive FCE preps for 16+, one in July and one in August. And those dates will be out in the next couple of days. I can actually, or June can email them to you now. We do have the dates now, Audrey. So if you've got people interested, we've got those. Tell us if you've got juniors that want Cambridge. We can do it. It's only because we thought that people didn't want it that we're not doing that. So,
if I can just add to that as well, especially for juniors, our experience in the past, we have run the Cambridge exam courses with possibly only 2 or 3 students. It can be a lonely experience for them, which is one of the reasons why we don't like to run it when it's so low in numbers. And that's where, either, as Jane said, Audrey, we can run it for you if you think there is demand, but also that's where we can put together a study programme that can complement their studies, and that can be very interactive with teacher guidance as well.
Good. We have a question from Maureen or Maureen. How do you apply? Is there a form? How much is the deposit? And what kind of methods of payment should people use?
So the form is nearly done. Shaw's in our marketing department. He's working on it at the moment. So yes, please use our form. We'll be sending that out to you, and it'll be available on the website. We are not asking for deposits at the moment for these courses. We just require payment by the first day of the course, and we offer a full refund for cancellation before the course starts. Once the course begins, as with all our courses, there is no refund. So refund before the course begins. I think, Audrey, is that? Well, no, that wasn't Audrey. Who was the question? Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Yes, I think that was everything.
And it is possible to pay with a bank transfer, isn't it?
Our normal payment methods, we use Flywire, which is the cheapest for everybody concerned, and details of that are on the website, or bank transfer, of course.
Excellent, very good. We have a question from Anna. Hello, Anna. Is there a parents package available? Haha.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was preparing for my next call. Your answer is coming soon. Yes, we can certainly, well, the parents can join our main school courses that are running at the moment, and the timing does allow them to run alongside their kids studying with our juniors programme. Apart from that, I mean, again, feedback has been that there's not a great demand for it, because I think feeling that we had from the agents that responded to this was that parents would be glad of the break, having been locked in their house with their kids for so many weeks doing a lot of home teaching. So we do run parent and child. We've not moved it yet totally online, but it's not out of the question. But for the moment, I would suggest that if parents would like to study at the same time as their kids, then of course they can join our main school, our adult courses. Of course, that's as long as there's more than one device in the household as well.
And preferably 2 rooms.
Yes, of course.
It can be a little bit challenging to do 2 Zoom meetings, although if you have headphones and everything, it's okay. But if you have 2 people speaking in the same room, it's not great. So that's better if they're in separate rooms.
I was just going to move on to Paul's question. Paul says, can you talk a bit about the younger kids who might not be used to communicating in English? Certainly, and of course, this is where the teacher training comes in working with the younger students, because there are a lot of differences in terms of engagement, up times to have activities that make students feel energetic, and then down times again. Activities are shorter, there are lots more breaks, there are visuals, there's a lot of repetition and reviewing of work. A lot of planning goes into the fundamentals for the students, and a lot of physical stuff, so that they've got activities to do again away from the screen, with a lot of teacher guidance. Rather, with younger kids whose level of English is not so good, they need a lot more controlled practice, so the teacher will be monitoring and guiding them and giving them practice and repetition, but again in a stimulating way, short bursts for the younger students who are not able to communicate, and setting small achievable goals for them, so that they really feel a reward, they feel as if they have gained something from every class. So very doable. That comes into the teacher training that we do and is ongoing with our teachers.
We have a question from Audrey, which is there any division based on age in the general English course, or will 8-year-olds be in a class with 14 and 15-year-olds at the same level?
No. Firstly, with any juniors in any school, you should be placing according to age over level. And then when you've got anomalies, you take that into account in a case-by-case basis. So you do not want an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old studying together in the same class. But often that falls into place because of level, because just by length of time that a student has been studying, normally your younger students fall to the lower levels and your high level students are your older students. As I say, when there is an anomaly with that, then the Director of Studies would speak to the student, speak to the parent, speak to the agent, and see if they would like some extra support that can be given to boost them. So for example, a case that we had a couple of years ago, 15-year-old Brazilian girl who had a low level of English, and all of her peers were high level. We did not place her in the pre-intermediate level, but we placed her where it was a bit more challenging for her linguistically, but she was with her peers, she was with her age group, and we gave her extra support. So placing with age over level and ability there is always the guidelines for young learners.
Great. We've had a couple of questions about when the junior taster lessons are going to be. Everybody, we will send this information out. We're We haven't exactly come up with a day yet. It's probably going to be Wednesdays. It will be every week. Just to remind you that we are offering free online sample lessons for you, for ETOs, every Friday at midday UK time. And if you would like to know any more information about that, then you can contact June or anybody else in our marketing department.
Can I just come in there, Adam? We're starting next week, aren't we? The social programme taster. The first one is next week. So we should be able to let you know today which day it is. So Adam, did you say Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, we just haven't quite had this conversation yet, I think, but it will probably be Wednesday or Thursday, lunchtimes UK time.
Okay, right. Well, we will let you know as soon as possible, because if it's starting next week, we know you want to start selling. Selling, that's free. Getting that out free to everybody as soon as possible.
Yes. Yeah. We have a question from Edward. Is every Friday taster lesson open for ETOs and potential students at the same time?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It's a taster lesson for anybody who would like to try. For students aged 16 and above, the Friday taster and the ETOs. The junior social programme is for our junior age group. It's not for ETOs or for adult students. So 2 different tasters. One for under 18s and one for 16 plus.
Great. A very important question. Is commission still available instead of a 3 weeks course?
The 3 weeks course is available to everybody. Of course, we are offering commission on these courses as normal.
That is brilliant. Is there a minimum number of students required to run the Young Leaders course?
With all our courses, if we say we're going to run them, we run them. So no, we don't have any minimum numbers of students.
Great. And yes, we've had a fair few people in Latin America asking about different timetables, so that's interesting. I'm sure everybody in Latin America, we will go away now and we will talk about it and we'll see what package we can come up with specifically for the Latin Americans.
Yes.
And Beth, will you offer proficiency exam preparation?
Again, yes, we certainly can. I mean, in a proficiency level course, a lot of it, if we think proficiency, first of all, the Cambridge Proficiency exam is a general English exam with the same as all main suite. So in the proficiency C2 level course, a lot of proficiency level work would be covered for the exam. In addition, we can add on extra preparation specifically for the exam if there are students who wish to take the exam.
There's an interesting and a large amount of material out there for doing proficiency exams, and finding material for proficiency level junior students is not as easy as finding the exam preparation stuff. So absolutely that. And hello again, Anatoly. If 2 children, 2 brothers, would like to take a course and use only one computer, would that be possible? Would there be a difference in price, or should they have 2 computers?
I think really that ideally they should have 2 computers, because if they go into breakout rooms, then that means that they're going in as a 2 instead of a 1 into a group, etc. I think it might be frustrating for them more than anything else, to be honest.
Remember, they can use a smartphone. It's not ideal, but you can use a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop or a computer. So we would charge per person, not per computer used. So I'm afraid we might be able to do you a family price, but not a price because of the number of computers they're using.
This is actually something, I'm not sure that I really mentioned it when I talked about the technical and security features of Zoom. But one of the things that we ask all of our students is to have the camera on when they are in lessons, so that we can see that there aren't 5 people all gathered around the same computer, or that there are adults in a class, which should be only for children. So we monitor our classes by asking everybody to have their computers on, and if it's in the social program, it's okay, but in generally, everybody should have their individual device.
Right, I'm just having a look. So Somebody was asking about the brochures. So brochure for to show parents, you can show the key facts brochure that we sent to all of you this morning. The proper brochure, online version, should be ready by the end of the week. And I'm just looking at these. Anna was asking about the basic package and then the add-ons such as the specialist skills. The package includes everything. It includes the general English, all the young leaders, and the skills workshops and the activities. So everything on that timetable is included in that one price.
The only extra things that we're offering are 1-to-1s and 2-to-1s, as we've already talked about.
Just checking. We haven't missed anything. Maureen, yes, you're also interested in B1 and B2 exam preparation. So as Fiona said, we can do that, we can offer that. Meanwhile, if your clients are 16 plus, yes, we are offering that in July and August.
Just to reiterate, everybody, our maximum class sizes are 14. That's maximum class sizes. We expect our classes to be a bit smaller than that.
So I've just seen one from Dina. Hi Dina, I'll just answer quickly. Recommended levels for young leaders. So the young leaders is minimum level is B2. If you're not sure about the level, as always, as with all our courses, we'll send you a test now to double check the student's level so that we know they're the right level. So B2 for the young leaders, specialist skills, all levels that we offer, so from A2, but obviously they're divided into levels for the workshops. And Maureen, how does the sports program work? That's Adam, that's over to you.
Obviously, playing football matches is not really something that we're capable of doing, sadly, but this would be more kind of exercise or stretching. As I said, the TikTok things are really nice little videos that people practice some repetitions. The yoga or meditation type activities will involve lots of stretching, lots of sitting in positions.
I just have to interrupt there, Adam. I'm sorry, but yoga is really hard work. It's not lots of sitting in positions.
Sorry, yoga is very hard work. And oh, there's one of these TikTok challenges that I saw, which was people kicking a toilet roll. So keeping a toilet roll in the air and seeing how many times they could kick the ball and keep it in the air. So it's this kind of thing that we'll be trying to do, because we still envisage there will be restrictions on movement, possibly going outside. So we're thinking about things inside more than outside at the moment, but if situations change in different countries, then we will adapt our programs to suit the situation.
We can still expect them to work together though, so they can work in pairs. For example, one student giving instructions, motivating, using motivational language, the other one doing the workout in short bursts, etc. So there's language going alongside the actual activity of sport and exercise as well.
Yeah, exactly. It'll all be in English.
So Maureen asked about the minimum time. Yep, it's 1 week minimum, and yes, I will send you the adult program. Edward, is the pre-test, is it the same as the one we're using for the adults? Fiona, is it the same or is it a different test for the junior?
No, it's modified.
It's a different test, Edward, different test.
It's a similar format if you're familiar with the main school one, but obviously anything that we do in juniors must be adapted to meet juniors' needs.
Right.
We have another one from Paul. Do students enroll directly, or can we submit grouped applications to us?
So normally we would expect, Paul, you to send us the bookings yourself. I don't quite understand the question, actually. Sorry, is it in the chat? So I'm just having a look at your question. Do they enroll direct? Oh, how can you submit? Okay, I see what you mean. Yes, so preferably through you, but they can enroll direct as well, as long as they mention that it's coming through you. Grouped applications, if you want to send us a grouped application, Fiona, how do we normally do that? Is that on a spreadsheet?
Yes, they can send it through either individual application forms bunched together or in a spreadsheet that we can send to you.
And yes, we can send you individual bills, no problem at all with that. And I will send you the adult programme, just adding you to my list. We did send the adult programme out to everybody, but as with all these things, it probably goes into your junk quite often because it's a mass email. So the adult programme's been out for a few weeks. If you haven't got it, please tell June and she will send it out. I've made a note for Paul and Maureen to get that.
We do have a question about homework. Is there any homework?
Well, we're not planning to put an emphasis on homework. We'll certainly provide that there will be projects, students will have things to work on outside of their class time, and we can do homework on demand. We can also add in an extra blended element. But our feeling was, and our feedback was, that students have been studying very hard online in most countries until the summer. They may not want extra heads down homework, but homework is a very easy thing to bring back into the classroom if there's a demand for it.
It's more likely to be project-based homework. So for example, if they're doing one of the skills workshops and all of these involve projects, it'll be research or preparing something for the project, which doesn't necessarily mean staring at a screen. Maureen, you were saying no specialist workshops included in the general English. Yes, general English, as with all, as with the young leaders, it's 10 lessons of general English per week and 5 lessons of specialist workshops. So everybody does specialist workshops, the general English students and the young leaders. They do those. And I saw another one, the anonymous attendee. How big are the groups? It's maximum 14, maximum 1-4. Platform for the lessons, over to you, Adam. There are 2 platforms we use, aren't there?
Well, yes, we use Zoom, obviously, for this. We generally use Edmodo as the platform for sharing all the all the information that students need for their classes, all the kind of materials. We do that through Edmodo, and there's also chat functions in Edmodo that people can ask questions to each other and the teacher. One of the things we've been very aware of, especially with young learners, is that we don't want them giving away their email addresses or contact details. So in Edmodo, you don't have to do that. That's one of the reasons we've gone with Edmodo.
Someone is asking, who is our yoga teacher? I would love to be the yoga teacher, but I haven't done my yoga teacher training yet. But we do have many trained teachers in Wimbledon, yoga teachers, and I know them all, so don't worry about the yoga. Could the taster be a little later? Thank you, Audrey. That's good feedback. We will take that into account. Yeah. Maybe we'll have it at 1300 UK time. Yeah. Dina, legal English. Yes, we are providing legal English this summer. I'll send you the details. I can't remember the dates off the top of my head, but as I think they're the same as the dates in our normal brochure.
Yeah, they are. They were.
Okay, Pepper. Oh, I don't know that. Yes, Adam, do you want to take Pepper's question?
I'll tell you what, Pepper always comes up with amazing questions. So the question was, when working in projects, will students have to meet their classmates after the lessons to prepare material or research, or is this taking place during the classes when the teacher does the breakdowns or breakouts? We are not going to insist on students sharing contact information with each other at all. Okay, now it may be that they will talk to each other on Edmodo, but we don't want to be we're not going to make any activities that require students to give, for example, telephone numbers to other students. That goes against all sorts of safeguarding and potentially GDPR laws as it is. So it will be orchestrated within the classroom, but yeah, if there are other places to go, then we will give the students a site, Edmodo, where they can work together if they need to.
So Audrey was saying your 17-year-old did Easter, said some of the others were a bit younger. Yes, we are sure there will be more students on the summer programme. I can't really tell you which weeks envisage having the highest because we're starting in June this year and normally we start in July. July is always the month when we have the highest, when it's July and August, but it could be, I really don't know, to be honest, which will be the busiest weeks for young leaders.
It's still a new market for us, isn't it? So we will find out exactly which weeks are going to be the best. Edward asks, will British kids join the camp?
We are inviting British kids to join the camp, yes. So if you know any British boarding schools, if you work with any British boarding schools, please, we'd love to get in touch with them. We have our own, but we don't know all the ones in the UK. And they will be invited to join the Young Leaders Programme.
That's great. I think that is, that's most of our questions.
So Anna, you were just saying you haven't got the key facts. Yes, please email June. I tried to reply to that, but it didn't seem to work. So I think that is all the questions. What time is it? Perfect timing, 1:05. Yep. Lovely to see you all. So before we go, just a couple of things. So we have our next webinar, which is a week on Friday. That's Friday the 22nd. Friday the 22nd of May. That is on our adult or our 16 plus programs for the summer that we're offering. So all the ones you've been asking about, exams, law, medicine, pre-sessional courses, evening courses and so on. So 12 o'clock, if that's okay with you, Friday the 22nd of May. And the final, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, which is very important, we are not opening Lord Wandsworth College this summer. We are not running physical, if I want to call that, physical junior programs this summer. We feel that if the UK is open, which it might not be, it will be the physical things that we will have to do will make it no fun for the children. So summer 2021, yep, we're going to have, we hope, lots of fabulous junior programs, physical ones, but that's why we've put together what we think is this really fun, exciting and a little bit different juniors online program for you. So thank you very much, everybody. It's so horrible doing these because we can't see you at all. All I see are your messages, so we don't have little screenshots of you. I'd love to see you all. Hope to see you all live soon. Meanwhile, stay safe, take care, and we are thinking of all of you all the time.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Lovely to see you. And yeah, take care, as Jane says. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.